Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Grand Spartan. Welcome back to Empyrion Let's Play. Today we're going to do something a little different. So I've had a good many of you ask me about building a capital vessel. And I thought, well, the incredible amount of time it would take for me to create something like this on survival, because we'd have to sit there and make all the blocks in the constructor, and all of that, would just take too long. It would take us many episodes to do it that way. So I started a creative game here, and we're going to do it this way in creative, and then we can do what you see a lot of people do on Steam, where they take a snapshot, make a blueprint of their vessel or their base, and upload it. And we're going to do that. We're going to take a snapshot of this thing when we get it completed, and we're going to then bring it over to our survival game. And you still have to build it. Just, you do it with a blueprint instead of having to build it from scratch and create all of those blocks and so forth and so on. So a little bit of a speedy way of doing it, a little bit faster. And so you're going to have to bear with me here, though. Let's see. Old Crow Express had recently shown me his way of doing it, which is not a way that I had ever done it before, but we're going to do it this way. So we can bring up our menu here. I'm going to get one core. We're going to actually take the core out of this thing down here. Is how we're going to do it. Let's there we go. All right. So I don't know if the physics are the same on a creative game or how that works. It seems to me like blocks just sort of float around. But anyway, so this is going to be one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go 6. Oh. We just one at a time so we keep it all balanced. We don't want anything falling over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take this block off over here that we put on by accident. 2 on by accident. 6. All right. So what we've done is, in Crow's explanation on why he does it this way, is so that the core is in the centermost part of the vessel. Up high here, we can put a layer of combat steel underneath it, on the sides, above it, and it's all protected instead of being on the very bottom of your vessel. Now, the way I had done it when I did build my own, or start building my own, was I had to raise it up off of the ground by putting some thrusters on it and lifting it up to put the landing gear and all of that, and then removing all of this once I got that in place. But this is a little faster way of doing it. I have to do a little bit at a time, though, because we experienced something when he was showing me how to do it. It kept falling over on us, and it took a while to get it all right. So I'll try not to experience that here with you all. I'll try to get it right the first time around. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 4 out from the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that's right. 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. And if you're just playing the game, absolutely, you can do what I'm doing on your survival game. You don't have to fly around the way I'm doing it here. What Crow did was he made himself an elevator. He had a platform made already for his current base when he was showing me how he did it. And he just made an elevator that would, carry him up here so that he could get up and work on the vessel. So 1, 2... Don't you shift on me. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Looks good. So we have 4 landing gear here. Let's see if we can get them in place and where we want them. Like so. There. All right. So that looks okay. Kind of what we're looking for. So we're going to take off all of these now, a little at a time. After watching Crow struggle with it all falling over and not balancing out, I said, you know, I'm going to be very careful when I do this that I don't have this thing fall over on me. All right, well, it is, there we go. All right, took a moment for the physics to kick in. So there you go. There's your platform to build on. Pretty simple. You don't have to make it this big, or you could make it a lot bigger. You know, it just depends on what you're going after for size and shape and all of that. This is going to be really boxy, but I thought about it. I said, you know, we'll make something with some decent amount of firepower. Something we can take deep into the galaxy, take on some of those alien vessels and sectors and so forth and so on. So now, this is where we kind of figure out which direction we're going to go with it. I could do something really simple and just make a rectangular ship, and then we could build upon that. If you hold down control, I don't know if you know, whoa, man. If you hold down control, and you're on God mode like I am, you go super fast. But if you hold down control, look at that, we can lay out a whole section at one time. And makes it a whole lot easier when you're trying to place a massive section down all at once. So there we go. All right, so that's our basic platform we're going to use to build on. It's not super big, doesn't need to be. I tell you what we can do. We could make it just a little bit longer. Oh, but not that long, Spartan. We can make it just a little bit longer this way. Let's go just a couple blocks out. What is that? 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do the same on the back. We'll go out 3. Maybe 1 on the sides. Oh, shoot. It's pretty easy to mess that up, too, holding down that control. If you're on God mode, the control it's like a super speed, so you move really fast. So you have to carefully place these 3 right there. All right, should be balanced and ready to go. We'll just do 1 out on the sides. So we'll go over the essential components. And I've not completed one of these by myself. All I have done is just take those prefabs and maybe chop off some places that I don't want, add some things that I do want, and that sort of thing. So let's make sure we're right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, so we want an odd number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then be the same on this side. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's why we want an odd number. Just like if you watch my 7 Days to Die videos, the same thing. You want an odd number for all of that. So anyway, and you can get that center point is right here. 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I tell you what, we're going to go 1 more wide on this, or 1 more out. Or we could just take 1 off, which would be better. Let's take 1 off. That might be a little bit too long. We want an even number here to add on to what we had done, so. So let's shoot on up here. We should be able to get through this in a couple episodes, I would imagine. And then then we can move on to some, importing it into our game and building it in a survival game with our blueprints. So this line is our center line here. We're going to need a cockpit. So let's take a look at the list of items that you can build in the capital vessel. See what all we need. Of course, we are going to need a warp drive and a warp drive tank, storage, all of that stuff eventually. But there's cockpit 2. There's cockpit 1. I like the cockpit 2. That looks kind of cool. Let's give ourselves one of those. Let's right click. No, there's no other option. Okay, so the cockpit 2 is not going to work unless we put 2 side by side. See, it would be off center there. So scrap the cockpit 2. That might be for a little different design. Go with the cockpit 1. This is what we're looking for. So something like that. It's right down the center. Yes, it is. And we'll go maybe 1 back there. That'll give us a little bit of room up here for some glass or a window or something to that effect. All right. So we have that. Let us look again. We want to get ourselves some power going on. And there's the T1. No, that's a T2 generator, and it's a large. So that's more than likely the one that we want. So we want one of those. We'll take, it would take all 5 of those fuel tanks. We're going to need them. Look through here. These are some large, extra large thruster blocks. We'll eventually need those. I guess we could throw them in our storage. The RCS, we're going to need those. Or not our storage, but our inventory. So let's do that. Let's, don't want this. We'll trash that. Trash all of this stuff from scrapping. Don't need any of this stuff. It's just going to take up space. So we can, of course, give ourselves anything that we need. So now this is how I built the little prefab base that you saw on my single player game. Absolutely came into a creative game, built a prefab, and then went from there with it. So based on the size of this thing, this platform is pretty small. We're going to have ourselves a really compact version of a capital vessel here. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to have to make it larger than this at some point. We may just extend it out on the sides. Would probably be the easiest thing to do. Maybe we can add some more legs to it. So let's see how wide this is here. So this is 11. Let's that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I just drop 2 down? It's so hard to tell sometimes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. It's just easier to do it block by block so we can count it out. 1, 2, 3. Actually 10 and 10, because then we'd still have our odd number. I should have just done 10 and 10. So let's take this outer block off here. Okay. And the same over here. We're going to do that. We're going to go 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now we're going to start filling it in here, but I'm just going to gradually fill it in. I don't want to do too much at once because I don't want it to tip over on me. I don't know at what point it will. It's pretty good wide base here on it, so it shouldn't. Actually, now that we got that other side kind of filled in, we should be able to put this down like that. Yep. fill this in. Boy, that control is sensitive. All right. And we'll do the same thing we did over there with the, how many did we leave? 2 spaces. We'll go down this line here, and then we'll count back to 1. I think those were actually on the edge, weren't they? That's okay, we'll do it like that. And put 1 more under here. And this line is the line we're on, and it's right there. All right. We do the same thing over here. I'm going to stay in line here. These combat blocks actually give you a pretty nice way of seeing. We're looking for landing gear. Pretty nice way of seeing where things go, because it gives you the lines, and you can take those lines and get an good idea of where things should be. So we're gonna stick that there, that there. And technically, we don't need those inner, now that we made it a little bit wider. I think we're going to make it a little bit longer, too, just so, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be any longer. We could make sort of a boxy-looking thing and fit it all in here. But let's see how long this actually is again. Let me count it one more time. 17. 17, and we had a 2-block gap all the way around for the landing gear on the edges. All right. That's probably going to be sufficient. I don't want to make it too big, you know, just for the sake of this series and these episodes and how long it's going to take us to place all of this stuff and all of that. You know, we'll try to pack everything in here, and it might not be the neatest looking vessel you've ever seen, but we're just going to try to pack everything in. So there's a generator. Let's put a couple fuel tanks here, somewhere around this generator. Is it going to work out like that? Yeah, it sure is. Look at that. All right. So there are our fuel tanks, and it gives us enough to put 2 spaces of blocks here in case we want to, you know, build up some defenses around the generator, because of course if that goes out, then we're in a lot of trouble. So let's see what else in the menu we could use on this thing. For right now, we're absolutely not going to need guns. We'll get to that eventually. Let's do a couple O2 tanks. Won't need a passenger seat because it's just single player. You could always add that in if you're on a multiplayer. Oh, we will need thrusters at some point. We'll need those thrusters. We're going to need some engines. Gonna need a warp drive. Maybe we put a warp drive on another level is what we'll do. We'll try to keep some of the crucial stuff on this one level here. And then we'll move up to the next level for other things that we want to pop on here. Let's look at this next one down and see if there's anything. Nah, there's nothing there. Okay, so I guess we could make ourselves kind of a makeshift cockpit right here. So this is the center, so 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, something like that. We'll go one more high. It's Probably isn't going to be the prettiest thing you've ever seen because, like I said, I don't have much experience at all messing around in this game with building craft. I made the chicken, but I took I took a prefab and just amended the chicken to the way I wanted it to be. So let's rotate this block here. We're actually going to click and drag these over. That's not going to look good. Let's see what other options we have. We can make some long windows, some big windows. Let's do that. So if you're new to the game and you're kind of watching this and trying to figure out if this is a game you'd like to play yourself, you right click on a lot of these objects and it will give you the option to change up the particular format that you have. See, we right click, you have all of these different styles that you could work with. As a matter of fact, I don't know how long you all are going to sit here with me, but we could change this up a bit. We could round it off. That might actually be a little bit better. I chose in the menu here, I chose the armored window block. Just so it would hold up if we took some shots directly to the face. You're going to want to... I don't know how that's going to look. Let's see if we can turn it a little bit. No. How can I do this? How can I do this? That's not what we want. Yeah, I don't think that would look too good if we did it that way. Maybe we were just better off right now, for time's sake and all of that, just sticking with the square. We'll just stick with the squares for right now. That'll be a quick fix, and we can always come back later and change those up. Oh, wait a minute. Come on, Spartan. There we go. All right. So it kind of looks like a base. It's going to be a flying base. That's what it's going to be. All right. Next step. And that might actually be a bit too much glass. We'll take a shot to the face there, and we might go right through that glass. Maybe I can angle that just a little bit too. Maybe we change that up to an angle piece. Make it a little more compact. Thing is I want to make this a couple levels. Also, if you're doing this and you're in the creative mode, you can always back up or increase the time so that there's light outside. This little thing that I just clicked on there. So we've created the foundation. We have a generator. Now let's get some other things going here. We could kind of build up the back a little bit. Let's see what kind of blocks we could put down here for our corner pieces. Maybe these pieces. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work for something like what I had in mind. I don't want to waste too much time on this. We'll just make a giant square if we have to, or a giant rectangle, and go with it like that. Because I don't want to waste too much time on silliness, just making it look good. I'm not too concerned. I had some questions on what exactly do I need to make a vessel work, operational. And we might make ourselves a giant flying rectangle with a bunch of guns on it and see how it holds up. We'll take it into combat, and it doesn't have to necessarily look pretty. Also, I can build this as a giant rectangle, and then we can attach our curved pieces onto the giant rectangle. So, don't be confused into thinking that you can't, add to it. Of course, weight does play a factor in all of this as well. You don't want to make it too super heavy. Right now we're going to make ourselves a bit of a cockpit. Kind of surround ourselves in some blocks here. Like so. All right. So we've got that out of the way. We could make let's do it one more deep. And let's bring this up. Automatic door blocks. And we need one. And you can always fancy this up with consoles and all of that sort of stuff. So let's go to our door block. All right, it's a nice little cockpit with the sunshine shining through. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that up. That's a lot of glass there. That's like sitting in front of that's a giant target for us. So that'll be our cockpit area. Now let's let us work on. I have plenty of fuel tanks. Guess we could add a couple more. Let's see if it'll work out if I turn them like this. Yeah, that might not look too bad. And we'll encompass that generator and fuel tanks there. And we'll leave ourselves enough space. So if we put blocks down here, let's do this. We can always make this, like I said, we can always attach blocks to this to make it all curved and pretty looking on the outside once we get this all boxed in. Something like that. So it should be enough weight to keep it all balanced too, so nothing tips over. Whoa, we don't want to do that. Held down the control again. That's a really sensitive thing. Goodness. A little easier just to do this. Yeah, there's one extra block there. We'll get rid of that block in a minute, though. Oh, it went away. If we want to go back and add some windows or something, you know, we can absolutely do that. Why did that not work? Something's getting a little crazy here because a capital vessel, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like flying around. Do you see that? What is our capital vessel moving and I don't know it? I can't see it. There we go. That worked. Hopefully it's not moving. I was doing that same silly thing. No empty space to place block. All right. So that will be our first level of our ship. Let's look at the thrusters. We're going to have to put the RCS down at some place. We'll leave ourselves, we'll have space to get in here and move around, so that looks good there. We want to be able to fill our tanks up if we can. Of course, you can always use the P menu. Let me take a sip of my drink while I get some thrusters out. Let's look at these thrusters and see how large they are. I think they're really big. Yeah, they sure are. Let's go down. We're going to want to put them maybe something like that. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Oh, I tell you what, I don't like that. Let's move it to right. It's hard to see where it's lined up at. So how big it is. Boy, I did that again. I'm not looking at it right. Okay, that should be it. Sorry, yeah, so I wanted the square to line up there with the corner, so good there. Let's do the same thing here. All right. So there's a couple thrusters for us. And we'll probably need some more. I don't know whether I want to build a little space here in between, if I want to attach these to each other. We're certainly going to have to encompass these things. I tell you what, we'd probably be better off doing something like that. Yeah, there we go. And let's get up in here. This is going to take longer than a couple episodes to get this thing built, because this is a beast. This is there's a lot to this. It's hard to cover anything in just an hour, you know, when you have an hour to do something, especially something like this. I'm basically brand new at the game, and I've not attempted something quite like this so far, so this is all quite new to me. I think if we're 3 high, we are high enough. Looking at this, I think we're high enough to place pretty much anything in this first level that we need. RCS and oxygen tank. Yeah, so all of that is good. We're going to need more generators. We're certainly going to need more generators. So maybe we can line up the entire back with generators and that sort of thing. So let's go over here to this and kind of pretty this up a little bit. Let's get ourselves some of these blocks. Something like that. No, we're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to encompass these things in some steel so they can't take direct shots. Yeah, something like that. Absolutely. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll encompass it in steel. And we need to put a ceiling on here for this first level. So let's do that. Let's add this here. Whoops. Oh, we ran out. Boy, so we just went through 999 combat blocks. So if you were doing this on a single player, boy, you'd be back at the large constructor constructing more of these blocks. Goodness. All right, there we go. So now we have our basic cube foundation for this thing. Let's go ahead and encompass the other side before I forget to do that in steel blocks. Oh, Spartan, taking off like the Flash. Ow. All right, here we go. Let's get down here. Put some blocks on here. Like that. Oh, yeah. All right. Starting to take a little bit of form now. Let's look at these other thrusters as well and see what size they are looking like. So we could, whoops, we could add a couple more of these. We could actually put them inside or something, inside the blocks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sounds like a good number. So count it out one more time. Now we only went 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now these take up, let's see what kind of space these take up. Okay, so they take 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to take the 9 and the 10 slot up. So we'll do the same thing with this one. 9 and the 10 slot. Hangs off. Yeah, okay, so those are even. If you look down the edge there, they were all even. You could almost center another one. Is that going to work right there? 2, 3, 4. No, that's not center. With it being too wide. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, with it being that wide, we're not going to be able to place that one and keep it, have it center. How about a large one in the center here? What would that look like? Is it only going to allow us to... Okay, there we go. Make sure they're all even. So we should have plenty of thrust. Should be no issues there whatsoever. So we're going to have to encompass all of that in steel. I'll figure out a creative way of doing that. But let's go back inside. And let's take a look at the generators here. So we're certainly going to need a lot more generators. I think what I can do is I can take out the fuel tank there, take out the fuel tank here. This interior spot is really going to be our power supply, is what this is going to be. We'll worry about the O2 station and all of that at some other time. So let's bring up the T2 generator. See how many of these bad boys we can fit in here. One there. Could we fit another one right here? We sure could, but then we couldn't get around the end. So just for the way it looks, we'll see when we crank her up what the efficiency is going to be. And if it's not going to be efficient enough, you know, we'll add more of whatever it is that we need. But for right now, let's add a lot of these. The warp drive is huge, so we're going to need a whole nother level for the warp drive. Let's get a warp drive on our belt and just look at the size of it here real quick. See, it is magnificent. It's beautiful, but it's huge. We could kind of stick it over in a corner, I guess. It'd be cool to make your own room with the warp drive. Yeah, so I hope you all will stick here with me. It's kind of fun now. I'm kind of enjoying myself and trying to figure out the where everything's going to go and how it's going to look. We may just leave this interior portion here to our power plant and work on possibly a second level up here. Well, let me get up high and kind of see where center would be in this, and we'll build like a room around it or something. And I think I'm going to take this big thruster off the back I don't, you know, that's not going to be center. I'm going to take this big thruster off the back. I don't think we're going to need that. Should be super fast without it. As a matter of fact, you know what we could do? I just noticed something that might look cool. Taking these and put him like that. Doing the same thing here. Kind of don't like the way it hangs off. So which one do we like better? I like the way that they're all stuck out evenly here. Like that. But this one I like the fact that it is kind of flush with the thing there. I think I like that one better. So we're going to take this one off. Stick that one there like that. All right. Now let's look at our warp drive and see if we can get a center for it. I guess that's good. We're going to need to build an elevator going from this lower level to the upper level. Let's find out where our center spot is. And that's going to be... we're going to make one more layer down here is what we're going to do. We'll add a whole nother layer of blocks to make this bottom, because there's a lot of times where you're going to take shots from the bottom and you're going to leave this all exposed. So let's do that. Whoa, went a little too far, Spartan. Something like that. Boy, it's so sensitive. My goodness. All right, get one more row here. I don't understand that. I don't understand why it's kind of glitching out. You see what it's doing there? I don't know why that is. Let's place this block and then try it. Yeah, it's still doing the same thing. So we'll just place them one at a time right here if we have to get it all right. I do want that... oh, we screwed up there. I do want to have that extra protection on the bottom, regardless as to where our core is at. More than likely, you know, you ain't got to get hit in the bottom, but just in case, and I absolutely want to keep that core as protected as possible, and that extra layer of steel, plus the fact that it is in the very center of the ship too, is going to add that nice little layer of protection. And now our legs can all be attached, and that looks nice. Something like that. Maybe fill this out too, you think? I think we'll fill this out too. Goodness, this is so sensitive. It's almost hard to use, impossible to use. How about we just get a little bit of it? Come on, man, give me a break. Look at how hard that is to use. All right, so we're just going to do a single row for this. That's fast enough. I get a little impatient sometimes, and so it doesn't want to work from right to left, but it works from left to right. All right, something like that. We're still going to have to encase this puppy here. Make sure it doesn't take any shots. we'll pretty it up too. You know, I could do that now on this layer. We'll play with the other side a bit and making it all rounded and all of that. Tell you what, let's do this. This is all going to have to be encompassed. Leave ourselves some places for some angle pieces. There's what I'm trying to do. And let's look at this real quick. How it might look if we did this. I don't want to get too fancy. That's really, really time consuming when you start talking about doing what I'm doing here. I don't want to take up too many episodes with this. I mean, it's cool and all, but I don't want to burn into 6 or 8 episodes and just making it look good. You know, I don't want to do all that. I mean, if you all ask for it, that's what I'll give you. But right now, I'm just more concerned with function than anything. Put a little corner piece in there. And let's turn this here. And we're going to have to remember what we did on this side to get the other side as well. Same thing here. Let's take these pieces and turn them there. Like that. Yeah, it's a little better, I guess. Oh. Like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, and now we have to figure out what corner pieces will work with these things here. Well, that doesn't look good. That sticks off the side, so we need a smaller corner piece. There we go. I don't like the way that looks, but I guess it's okay. Now this is a little different piece here. There's probably a better piece to fit in there. Gosh, I wouldn't know what it would be though. You know, I don't know. Let's go back to our menu here again and take a look. Wedge bottom, round slope edge. It's too big. That's not right. Thought maybe something would match up with the angle on one side and the flat on the other. We could probably turn some of these blocks around a little bit, but I tell you, for time's sake, what's this corner long? For time's sake, we're just going to do it like that for right now. So that's our engine for the side. we'll have to figure out some way to transition into this because this is going to be a second level up here. We're going to make ourselves an elevator that comes up to the second level to get to our warp tank drive and all of that. And I may do a little work now that I've gotten it started. I may do a little work off camera here just to save time, like this other side. I'll match this side with what we did there now that you kind of see the design and how I was going to encompass that in blocks and so forth and so on. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to change. Oh. Like that. And maybe, oh, I had it right there. Maybe something like that as well. Give it a nice smooth transition. And it's kind of blocky and all of that. Let's see what it looks like from the front. Yeah, it looks okay, considering how large those engines are. I just wanted something to protect them from the front, you know, if we're going to be taking shots from the front. And we may extend this front out a little bit. Make like a nice little curved piece coming around the front edge of it. And also the same thing with the cockpit. We might actually take this cockpit and make a nice little curved area for it as well. Something that, you know, more resembles what you see on a spaceship or something. May do something like that, or even use the curved pieces. Boy, we're out of combat steel blocks again, just that fast. You know, do something. Turn my light on so you all can see that a little better. This just looks like a base from up here, but it's starting to take form back here a little bit better. You know, starting to look a little bit more like a capital vessel. Just starting out with that rectangle and kind of working from there. So what I could do here, I got sidetracked earlier. Let's look at the elevator blocks. So where are you at, elevator blocks? We'll just take the whole stack. Yeah, we can make an elevator on top of the control block there. I don't see why not. Let's take out this. Oh, you know what though? That's directly center, isn't it? It'd be kind of cool. You could come up right into the center of your warp drive. Tell you what, let's count over some blocks here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would put us right there. Let's do an elevator block right there. How far does that put us? That puts us perfect spot. Maybe we could do a couple different elevators leading us into this particular area right here. Yeah, we could make it that high. So we do the same thing over on this side. Keep it nice and uniform. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And take out this block up here. Directly above it. Oh. Son of a gun, you. Spartan. All right. So that gives us a way to get up to our second level. This is going to be encompassed just like the first level. But like I said, don't think I'm going to leave this. I may extend this a little bit here. Take some flat blocks. I tell you what, let's take this off. Cockpit's probably one of the last things we'll do. But say extend it out. Whoa, son, what you doing, man? Stop with that. Stop it. Stop it. There you go. That control is just too hard to use. So extend it out here and maybe glass in an area, you know, put our angle blocks and make it look all super fancy. Now, how is that one down on the ground and at an angle like that? But so That's a start. That's a platform at least to build off of and kind of extend from. We have plenty of support down here for our landing gear and that sort of thing. We're gonna have to get some thrusters in place to get it off the ground. I kind of envision doing thrusters over on the sides here. Let's look real quick before we end the episode. Thruster S, we're only on capital vessel. Maybe we could use these thruster blocks there. Secondary propulsion. Okay, yeah. So maybe we could do some thrusters on the side right here. Make sure those are aiming down. Nope. There we go. And we could even take it out right there and transition into it. Oh, I got a good idea. I got a good idea for the thrusters. We're running out of time now, but I have a great idea for thrusters and what I could do with them. Since we have the double layer down here, why not just put them in the bottom? You know, that seems like it would work out perfectly. And we're going to need a good mini because this is going to be a heavy vessel. So I'll have to count the actual blocks out to find the center. Five, right there would be the center. So maybe if we did 4 rows of 3, you know, you follow me there, 4 rows of 3 going across, and that would give us enough thrust to get us off the ground. And we can take these off the side. I can use the side for windows, and you know, we can take this and boom, pop a window in there and pop a window in there, however we want to do it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching today's episode. This is probably what we'll be doing for the next 2-3 episodes or so, trying to get this thing up off the ground and armed up with some weapons. And then we'll take it on over to the blueprint to our single-player survival game. We'll make it there, and then we'll take it out into space and test it out and see how she holds up, how she does. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, and I will see you next time.